Now I feel like I'm just getting lazy. I just don't even care. It's so much more of a hassle. I got to keep turning it back and forth, back and forth. And I'm not a big fan of either way of how it looks. It's distorted in both ways. So anyways, when I try and turn it back the other way, it keeps falling over. It won't stay up. So it's just like, oh, well, just one way distorted or another. There's just all this weird stuff. Like, I feel so weird. Even when I stood up earlier, I felt like my legs were like parts of my body were heavier than other parts. Like, it felt like there was these little snowmen that I made with my kids one year, and they were these socks. And you fill them with rice, and you put these rubber bands, and it makes these 3 balls, and you put a little face, a little stick, all this. It's really cute. But the sandman or the sand snowman would shift, and that's what it feels like. I feel like the sand inside of me is shifting weird or something. Like, there's just so many things that I don't know how to explain that I feel like I'm going through that I've never gone through before. And then I see all these different people talking. And, like yesterday where I said, like, this weird energy is on there. It is so weird. I don't know. I know I'm weird. So I don't even have to question that. I know I'm weird. But some of this stuff is like, I don't know. And the vision or the insight that I get is so different than some of the stuff that I see, what people talking about. So like yesterday, I saw this person. It was a real young person, and it was sharing Dolores Cannon explain about the first wave. Like, they were showing like, hey, I'm a first waver, because they are depressed and they don't feel like they belong here. It's like, dude, you got to go in and listen to the whole thing. The first wave is people who are my age. Like, that's the first wave. This kid is third wave. If he is a part of the system of wanderers that came in, that's the third wave at his age. There's no way he's first or second. When you go in and you understand about like the different waves and the different purpose for each one, but that's the kind of stuff. It's like there's something to just pick and choose. Like, spirituality just becomes like this it's like dime store or something. It's weird. It's like you go on there and you have these girls that do these videos who just go out and show themselves like basking in the river or picking flowers, showing how spiritual they are. And then they have these little things being said. So it's like this constant show of like, oh, look how spiritual I am. I go and I lay in the river, and then I go and touch the leaves, and I'm the super spiritual. It's just like, I'm glad you're enjoying nature and stuff, but it's like you're trying to prove something. You're trying to, I don't know. I just pick up on something that is different than other people. And the thing that I keep being shown about is kind of like all these little people scrambling around, run over to this door. Oh, this is the door. This is the door. And then run over to this. Oh, no, this is the door. And right now you have so much arguing. Like, every group is so divided amongst themselves. And I saw like, yesterday, I saw this lady, and she was going off on the tarot readers. She was so frustrated. The day before, I saw one who was going off on the mediums, on the tarot or the TikTok mediums, who were trying to market their abilities to make money off of people desperate to try and figure out what's happening in their lives. And then it was the same thing with this tarot. So this woman, and she was an older woman too, and she went on and started explaining. She goes, so these ladies, they go in and watch some of these people, I guess, apparently. I just scroll past. I'm just like, no. Like lately, I feel like I'm some sort of TikTok addict, just going through looking for information. But I'm going to share the information that I found. But so this lady was saying, all these TikTok people who are out there misleading you, who are telling you this card means this and it doesn't mean that. And you guys keep going in and trusting these people, paying these people for information that isn't even the proper information. These people are, is like, just like what I had said, it's like these people who, they all of a sudden, they're the tarot readers, they're the spiritual community and all that stuff. And today, this kind of bothered me. I've had a lot of, I feel like I'm getting all sorts of triggers, weird triggers, not like weird triggers of, it doesn't matter, just weird stuff, like seeing somebody say something, and then they have like a million views. You're out there trying to talk and talk and talk, and you don't get any, and it's just that kind of stuff is triggering. I've talked about it before, but anyways, so this, I keep seeing all of these people just doing and saying weird stuff. There's this one guy, and I had seen him, a couple times going past, and I'd seen him say some stuff that I felt like I was in alignment with. I think I started following him. And a lot of the people, when they're just putting out certain information, especially healing information, I always like their videos, and a lot of them I follow. And so there was stuff that he had been putting out. And then I would see all the time, like he's constantly live. He's constantly, I don't know. I mean, I am not trying to put this person down at all, but I feel like that there is people who are trying to become cult leaders. I swear to God, it is weird. It's like they're constantly trying to market themselves, but it is to build a following. Like, I don't know, there's just seems like something different between building community and building a following and building a cult following, like, because so I've seen him say a lot of stuff. And then I start seeing the 0100110 popping up constantly on TikTok, these videos of this. It could be just a video, and it could be a computer talking, and then, like binary beats or whatever, like meditation thing. And it will have that computer generated voice. If you are seeing 01110 or whatever it is, this means blah, blah, blah. So then I kept thinking, okay, well, I've seen this code. I mean, this code has been being talked about for a long, long time, where people, I mean, it's the same thing as like the 144,000. Like, you've got all these people trying to figure out, and then they start being like, oh, I'm one of the 144. There's only 144 of us, but I'm 144,000, and I'm one of them. And then you hear people talk about, well, it's a vibration, all of these different things that you hear people talk about. And then, so the 0101010 or something, because there's two codes now all of a sudden. So there's the 0101010, and then there's 001000100. That one, I guess, is you keep doing that code, and that brings money to you. If you do the other code, they're all meeting on August 27th, apparently, at a certain place. All these people who feel this code is speaking to them. I'm not even really sure, because now I'm seeing that guy, and he has a group of people standing out, like a camera way far up, and these people, like, there's 5 of them, not like a huge crowd or anything, but him and then several girls, and they're all screaming out 01010, whatever it is. And so they're saying that all these people are going to go and meet. And then I saw an article about it. Like, all these people are going to go meet somewhere, and they're all going to be taken out of the matrix on this certain day with this certain code, and they're all meeting, and they're all doing that. I don't know how many people are involved, and I kind of felt like, is this guy's group of people that he's got going with this? I don't know. It kind of reminded me of that thing I talked about a while ago about, I remember because it seemed kind of like a way to discount the movement back then, the spiritual movement, which back then it was called a New Age movement. You had religion, and then you had this New Age movement, and it was about spirituality. And, that's what I was called all the time, a New Ager. Oh, you're a New Ager. Oh, okay, crazy New Ager, and stuff like that. It wasn't so much about where you, like, people couldn't even understand the concept of spirituality when you talk about it. And so, and even when I started really talking to people, I still had to use another religion to get them to understand. Like everything that, like if you went into the hospital or anything like that, they pick a religion. Spirituality wasn't a choice. And they wanted you to pick a religion, pick who you follow. So eventually I was like, well, I'm Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist because they believed in reincarnation. I didn't even know about all the other ones, like Hindu and all of this stuff. So, I just knew that the Buddhist believed in reincarnation. I believed in reincarnation. And so I started studying their philosophies, and I was in alignment with them. And, I'm in alignment with Jesus' teachings. Like, I get it. The whole thing is it's just manipulated, and people start being like, oh, this is my God, and they're coming to save me, and Jesus said, and they just start in on this thing. Like, you don't have a thought. It's what Jesus said. It's all we got to worry about, what Jesus said. It's like that. I don't think that's what Jesus said to do. Like, sorry. And so, but, when you could say, Buddhist, then people would just be like, oh, okay. And luckily, Richard Gere got into it around then, and he went to a place and lived with the monks or something and did his teaching. So it was kind of in the news a little bit. So then people would kind of be like, oh, so you're one of those weirdos or something, like they just couldn't get it. And then I don't even remember when it started being, because you'd always say, people would say, well, what religion are you? And I'd be like, well, I'm not a religion. I'm just spiritual. And, but eventually that did catch on, where people started saying, oh, that spiritual, that's just, but it's so vague that people can't really understand it so much. Like, they don't really get it. And so, to me, it is about your own connection. You just focus on your spirit. What is your spirit here for? What does your spirit tell you? What is your spirit doing? What is your purpose? What do you need to do for your spirit? Like, it's more like that, like coming at life from your spirit rather than your avatar, is what I think of it as. So anyways, but to me, it seems like people are trying to understand it through like this three-dimensional lens. And so it kind of develops this, like I said, these people running, oh, this is the door. Hey, everybody, come over here. This is the way. And now, like they're going to leave the matrix. You can't just leave the matrix. It is a system upon a system upon a system, because it is the soul. Like, we're in a solar system. We're in no matter what, it's a controlled world. Just like our body, our cells can't just leave our body and go out and just go do its own thing. It's like the same kind of thing. Like, we are the cells to this solar system. So you can't just go and leave. And, it's like, what if our cells just suddenly abandoned us and just like, oh, I'm out of here. I don't like what she's doing. I'm going, It's like, but they don't look at it like that, because they just keep looking at it from this three-dimensional trap. Like, we got to get out of here, people. We go over here. We're getting out. They got us trapped. And I even saw where people are saying now, like, we're in this trap. They've closed us off from the other lands outside of the firmament. Like, we got trapped in the firmament. Yeah, we are trapped in the firmament by vibration, but it is so you can, it's like a classroom. Like, what if you had a classroom in, in a school, and you had a classroom and it was just wide open. Just now anybody go on in, just everybody disrupt it, do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. They're just in there learning. Who cares? So it has to be contained. It's part of the way it works best. So, you can't, man, there's some stuff that is just, it's hard to figure out how to explain it, but there's a lot of different vibration and things outside of this that would interfere with the learning that has to go on in here. But so these people who are now like, oh, I want to get out of this matrix, but then they're saying, oh, but we're trapped in another matrix. Like, I literally have heard, now we're in the firmament. Like, our avatars are trapped in the firmament, but really our higher selves are trapped in the layers between space and the firmament. So it's like they said, we are in there trapped. Like, if you took us and you put us under a glass, and then we could still create our avatar, but we were trapped under the glass. Like, we couldn't get out. So they are saying, so once you do 0, 0, 1, 0, whatever, and you get out of this matrix, you still have to go rescue your higher self to get out of the other matrix. Like, there's all these matrices that they are like, oh, you have to get out of this one. Well, then there's this trap, and then you have to get out of this trap, and then you go, and look at, to me, that is so much about fear. It's like, you're like soul life or soul world has a specific way that it runs too. Like, and it is like this solar system. And there is, like, just in our system, how there's different blood cells or something that is kind of traffics the whole thing, like goes around your body, and make sure everything's running well, like I said, like the white blood cells have these like super cells, like these certain cells that come out and, they will attack infection or something that's not supposed to be there. And right now, one of the things that they do is they deplete our body of these cells. And that's like what I was talking about when somebody's immune system shot, and they'd have to do this because they had their white blood cells were, they didn't have enough white blood cells to go and fight for them. And so in the solar system, we have that same kind of group, which I would think of as, to my understanding of this outside world, at this point of my understanding, I would call like the Galactic Federation. And then you have, sickness and disease, and, just like what I was saying here, it's like a toxic evil representation started taking over and building a cancer inside the solar system. But, everybody went in to experience it. And now there's so many people here to experience this change from it. But it's so much more complex by why your soul comes into different situations and different experiences. And these people all act like it is outside of their control. They don't take any responsibility for their own. Like I saw this girl, and she was going in and attacking these other spiritual people. And she was saying, at first I was listening to her, I was like, okay, well, she's making a good point there. And so I went in and I started listening to more and more and more of them. And one of the people she was attacking was the one person who I said, she just never seems to be talking about healing stuff. She's always just kind of like making a show of it. And, but I don't know. I went through and started listening to more of her things, and it seems like, she says stuff about healing. So, I don't know all her stuff. I don't know everybody's stuff. All I know is that I know this is about healing. And that is going to be the big push that's going to happen when this event occurs, which, you know, I think is coming. I think it's going to kind of feel like a deja vu or something, like a hiccup, you know, like how you feel when you have like a hiccup or a quick sneeze or a deja vu, like all of those kinds of things happening at once. Like I think it's going to feel like a big glitch whenever this thing happens, that is the factor, the dividing factor, where these energies are going to go in the direction that they intend to go. So the ones that want to continue to experience this will go that direction. The ones who are ready for moving towards the age of Aquarius, they'll go that direction. It will just be like this kind of feeling, just like in our body when we have these effects. So I think it's going to kind of feel like that to us. It's not going to feel like super scary or something, like, but there's so much anticipation, like, you know, just like what I was saying when they talk about that they're going to put these guys to death in the most humane way possible by chopping their heads off with these big pincher things, pinch their heads off. Then how much you anticipate? Like, if I was sitting on death row facing that, I don't think I would ever sleep again. I would just sit there and keep thinking about this giant monster thing that's going to come in and chop my head off. It'd be so hard. And you know, and maybe that's what I'm supposed to be here learning. That's maybe why stuff for me is so drug out, is because I've got to get control of my anticipation, of my expectation, of, you know, being, because anticipation is kind of the same thing of living in fear of what's going to happen. Even if I logically can go, like, I'm not scared, I'm not worried, I know I'm eternal and stuff, there still is that thing of like, you know, is it going to hurt? What's going to happen? You know, and it's just, it's so weird. Just like this morning, you know, going outside, and it's just, I can hear a couple birds. They sound far, but like in my own yard, no activity on birds and squirrels and stuff like there was. And just the death. God, it feels like death outside. Oh my God, it smells like death. It feels like death. There's the fog that's all around us, and the weird weather, like freezing cold, and then the illumination disc comes out, and all it does is it's heated up. The actual ball or whatever the fuck this thing is, that's heated up. So when it touches you, it feels like fire touching you, but it doesn't heat up the space. You sit outside, and like yesterday, I was sitting outside for a while, and when the sun got over to that part, it was shining through the trees so much that it was very sunny, because when it's going over in the early afternoon across, it's down too low on my trees. It's nowhere. I mean, it's way low. Like, I'm not even shitting you how low it is on my trees. It's ridiculous. This thing's supposed to be millions of miles away. Bullshit. It's just everything they tell us. It's just such bullshit. You know what's also funny is, because I keep seeing all of these people, so many people are sharing footage of catching the moon outside during the daytime. Like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? And the thing that's funny about it is, when I was a little kid, and I would be outside with all of our friends, you know, we'd be out playing, because we were always outside playing. There wasn't parents around. I wasn't telling a parent, but I think they would have been just as oblivious. But I would, all the time, I would say, hey, you guys, look at that. Why is the moon out here? Isn't it supposed to be on the other side? How do we have a moon if the moon's supposed to be somewhere else? I said that so many times. And now I keep seeing all of these people who are talking about it or showing it. Like, can you believe how shocking this is? It's like, if this is shocking, I've been pointing this out for like fucking 50 years. Like, the moon is out during the daytime. But this is one that is just spinning everybody out. Like, well, there's no way. The moon couldn't be out here right now. The moon should be over there on the other side of the world. And so all these people are freaking out. It's like, dude, I have been fucking saying that for a goddamn long time. It is, I don't know. It's weird, the thing with people awakening. Another thing that I was thinking about yesterday too, because so these super spirituals, because now they're called, because the one girl who I went in and was listening where I thought she was making some good points. Now all of a sudden she's calling the new spiritual people. They're the new agers, the new age spiritual people. That's what she called them, who are saying all of these lies and stuff like that, and think that there's any sort of magnetism in energy, and that there's any kind of purpose about why you're born into drama and trauma and abuse and stuff like that. That because we think that there's a purpose to that, that we are, horrible people. And I ended up just blocking her after I watched some of her stuff, because she keeps going in and attacking these different people, these spiritual people, over what they're saying, by saying that they shouldn't be spreading these lies and stuff, and that we don't understand science. That's what really got me. Like, we don't understand science, dude. You don't understand spiritual. And but these people, there was some other point I was going to make about that. I don't think of what it was. But there is a reason why you go through this stuff. And there does seem to be spiritual people who are just way more into, like, I got the t-shirt, look at the cute necklaces and bracelet I got, go with it. It's all so spiritual. It says I'm spiritual right here on my t-shirt. I wear the bracelets that say I'm spiritual. I got the necklace, the chakra necklace, I've got an order of crystals. Look how many crystals are in my house. And they, I don't know. Like, to me, when I learned how to read tarot cards, I was a nurse working with this one girl who asked me to go take a class with her. And I went and took the class, and they're complex. The cards are very complex to learn all of this stuff. And so we did a 6 or 8 week course going to this place and learning the tarot cards. And so and that was just weird to people. Like, she called herself a Wicca. And so she was some nature witch or something. But people were, tarot cards, like, you're getting the devil's work out there then. So then, I didn't really do that much with them. I had my stuff, all my training and stuff like that. And then when I started having my spiritual awakening and they started talking to me and stuff, and I started doing that, I went and did the Reiki classes. I went and did the class on doing the past life regressions. So I did all those different classes, and went in and learned about them. And when I was doing the past life regression one, I'd already done quite a few on people, but then I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm supposed to be teaching. I'm not supposed to be doing this. So just said, tell me so loud and clear. So I told the lady who was doing the class, I said, I'm going to have to leave the class because I know I'm supposed to be doing something else. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. But to me, it is like these people, I don't know. Like, I've done so much reading on reincarnation, on there's just a lot of stuff to study. There's a lot of stuff to learn about with spirituality. And these people just don't seem to put in any time or effort. They just get so in their ego, like right away they're awake. So then they, can be out there doing this and reading people's cards and telling them what to do and doing spells and ceremonies and helping people get the man they want by doing ceremonies with them and shit like this. And one of the things too that I was thinking about is, like, these people, which I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know. I only can understand what it is that I'm told in my own stuff, to my own abilities and understanding. But to me, it seems kind of like they are trying to manipulate energy. Like, I saw this where there's all these people out there that are going out and telling the trees, touch me, tree, touch me, tree, touch me, tree, touch my shoulder, tree. I told you to touch my shoulder, tree. You know, and they'll stand there and then the tree will touch the shoulder. And then I saw this other lady who got really, really irritated that people were doing that. And she was like, you know, how rude. You're out there just demanding this energy to touch you. And it's like you don't get it or something. And so then, but you know, that kind of was where I kind of was pointed out to me, you know, that whole scenario or something. But now I see it like that is what they are doing. They're trying to manipulate energy. They're trying to boss it around, control it. It's the same thing with all this stuff, the witch TikTok, some of these super spirituals and stuff, you know, like with the same thing with their manifesting and, you know, they're going to have $1 million because they're in control of the energy. Like that's where they've all gone to, is about controlling the energy. Like, oh, so we're spirits. So there's okay, let's control it. You know what I mean? And then not recognizing, no, you've got to be harmonious with it. You got to work in harmony with it. How can you be part of water if you are the flames? Like you have to be working with the energy, not just commanding and demanding and trying to manipulate it. And that's what it seems like a lot of people are doing. And that's what I was saying. It's like some of this stuff, I feel like I just know it. Like, I don't know if it came from past lives or if I just have a bunch of lives imprinted. Maybe I do. Maybe I just had imprints put in when I came here for this incarnation. And I only understand these certain things because I was supposed to understand them, you know, supposed to talk about them or whatever. So I'm going to have an understanding of them because whatever lives that they would show you, you know, that would be, it is more of the energy. It's more of the understanding of the consequences of different experiences. That's kind of what life shows you. So, you know, I don't know, but I feel like I know to my core that we shouldn't be trying to boss energy around like that. And it's not being a part of it. It's not working harmoniously with it. And so I think that is going to be one of the things that some of these people are going to have to see in themselves. But when I was outside earlier, you know, and it's just so still and so creepy, and I'm just like, man, you know, what is gonna happen? Like, what is gonna be this big burp kind of thing? Like when my trees are telling me that they are ready to let go, something new is coming. And it is, you know, they're kind of like, if you think about the trees being energy and our matrix system, our experience, our reality, the theater that we are performing in, that it has, you know, the stage is set, but it's kind of like this stage is absorbing back into, that energy goes back into the stage and then comes back up as something even more beautiful. So it's kind of like a receding and then a growth. That is kind of like what it was shown to me, like it's going to go, like everything right now, kind of like what she said too with the water receding, like that receding, that is kind of like it's all going, pulling in, it's a pulling in, and then it's going to go shoot back out. So all of this stuff that is receding in is going to come back out. So I don't know. It's just weird how, you know, you sit there and say your trees are dying, and then you have somebody who's not even there or not even experiencing it tell you how you need to fix it. Well, how the hell do you know how I need to fix something if you're not even there? How would you know? If you are, if the trees are dying, I, I don't see fixing it with putting some bird seed out. This is what's supposed to happen. It wouldn't be happening if it wasn't supposed to happen. And that is what I mean, is these people who they want to control. Okay, they want to control what's happening. They want to be in fear of it, and then want to, I don't know how to explain it. Like I even saw somebody said, like I've said before about go with the flow. Like there's a flow to what is happening. Just go with the flow as this is going, because otherwise you're going against the current. And then I saw somebody else say, if you go with the flow in the water with what is happening, then you are, how did they explain it? They made it into it was a bad thing to do. You shouldn't do that. You've got to, get out of the water. You got to fight against it and stuff, and that's their perspective. And I don't know what their angle is, but I do know that there is a flow. There is destiny. Things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. You don't have control of it. And this reality is leaving, and it's leaving in a dramatic way because it's supposed to affect us. It's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. And it's supposed to be waking people up so that they go to their internal guidance. And I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of people who don't push people to go for their own internal guidance. Instead, it's just, hey, I got mine. Follow mine. We'll do this together. It's like, yeah, but it isn't supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be each person individually finding their own guidance inside themselves and being true to themselves. This isn't like, oh, we got to escape this room, like a escape room. We got to all do it together, and we got to figure out, I've got a good idea. Let's go over here. We can do these clues, and then we'll get through this part. We'll do these clues, get through this part. But see, that's like looking at all of this like through three-dimensional lenses or something. And it is all about this trying to control this thing that is happening on the planet. And to me, the whole thing that's happening on the planet is consciousness becoming awake and aware of itself, of seeing, like I've talked about this so many times, about this being the development of consciousness, and about consciousness learning its own self, like to wake up, and how these people who are still in the trap are like children who, like you have a group of children who are ready to move out and go out and see what's next. And then you have another group that is like, no, I want to stay here with my mom and dad forever. I don't want to go. I don't want any change. I want to just stay here forever. I'm too scared. What will happen? And see, they have to get to that point. Maybe they have to get pushed out of the nest. I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff happening. There's so many people dying. There's so many people who are having family members dying. People losing. There's so many people losing their houses and their cars. I guess a ton of people are getting their cars taken away right now. So I got to hurry and make a payment. The good thing with me is I don't know. They could have my address at this point. But before, since it was through my mom, they had her address. So I don't know. It's just this bullshit of this fighting against these controllers that want to take everything away from us, to make us, helpless and sad and hopeless, and, feel bad about ourselves, because, they've always got a special pill for you to take so you can feel good about yourself, because for God's sakes, you wouldn't want to do anything but take a pill. And there's so many people, though, who are seeing about the stuff with the food and the air, like, and the information about how much, what is in the air, and there's so much aluminum. Oh my gosh. And all of how neurotoxic it is for us. And, well, we can see, like, people are dying, and that's not even the only chemical. I mean, there's so many of these chemicals, and it's just layers of chemicals. And so, anyways, I don't even know if I'm making sense, but to me, this whole, I know this is just a part of this explosion towards the end. Like, all of the chaos I'm seeing and this intense energy and this massive confusion is just, it's part of the intersection of this pileup that's happening, of everybody just crashing, 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 and then being like, confused. They don't know what to do. But it's all going to turn the other direction. It's all going to go the other way. What is going to make it clear to people? But there's going to be so many people who are going in such haphazard direction and just all over the place, and that all of those things have to become clear to them. They have to see with clarity, because that is the movement forward. There's no more guessing. But so many people, because they're so caught up in ego, when they are showed with clarity, they're going to be in denial. They're going to be, feeling worse about themselves, because, there's a lot of people who've done healing. But there's a lot of people who haven't. They just kind of feel like spirituality is the answer, but they don't realize what spirituality is. Just like people who believe religion is the answer, but they don't believe what religion is. Because, spirituality is the answer, but it is a practice to follow in life. It's how you choose to live your life. It's how you perceive or look at things. It's not, I don't know, it's different than what I pick up on how people look at it. And then plus this desperation of people wanting to get out of the matrix and feeling like their higher self is also trapped. And to me, I don't see it like that. I see our higher selves is completely have control. They have complete control over us. Everything, we are a reflection of them. We are their dream. We are them experiencing themselves. So it just so happens that we also have feelings and emotions and things in the avatar, because it makes it, you see, like how that is a level up in a game, like when you're playing a video game, and then every time you level up, there's more things that are complicated in the game. And so you have more things to overcome. That, to me, is what it's like. It's just more things to understand and overcome. And I don't know. I just feel so much like people are just so mass confused and trying to control it, and just coming at it from a weird kind of way to me. I mean, I know I see some people who are, just completely about the spiritual part, and it's about you, and it's between you and your maker, your higher self. It's between the two of you, what you develop with them in your relationship, and how you understand your purpose and what you're doing. And it all kind of evolves, it unfolds itself through life. And I don't know, there just seems like all these people who are very much just want to try and control it. And I don't really get what, I mean, I know, like, when you're healing, that spiritual healing is, to me, spiritual healing is the way to go. I did psychology and all of that stuff before, and I feel like that's part of the system. It's part of let's create a diagnosis. What do we do with diagnosis? Well, we create a pill. So we don't need to have diagnoses and stuff. Like all these people who are out there like, oh, I'm neurodivergent, I'm attention deficit and stuff. It's like, those are labels to get you to label yourself, make yourself smaller so that you can go get a pill to try and control that side of yourself, because you have to be able to conform. You have to be able to be just like everybody else in this conformity system that they're trying to create, because there's so many people and it's so out of control that they don't know what to do other than try and control us. You know, the people in control have lost control and they don't know what to do. Plus, they're all being just, they're being unalived every day. And so there's all that stuff going on. But there is, I don't even know. I feel like I'm just totally lost in whatever I'm talking about. Hopefully it makes sense to what I'm saying. You know, just think about the things deeper. Like, it just look at things more deeper on everything. To me, it's like, that guy, the one in China who is trapped there. It's just start thinking, that could be all a psyop. That this is the world we live in. That could totally be a psyop. That the guy goes, and he shows out, oh look, I'm in China, and then immediately is locked up. So it can just manipulate how we're seeing things. And it could be in any reason to make you distract, to make you think something's going on that's not going on. It could be anything. And I don't know if it is. I mean, this could be his real experience. It's sucky. This is one of the things why I don't want to go and travel outside of my own country right now, because of the nonsense. And then plus, to me, he's imprisoned. They've got control. They won't let him leave. They won't let him go to the airport. He's controlled in a room in a hotel. And that's prison. And then they're going to board it up. I didn't even see any of his posts today. So I don't even know if he is seeing anything. The stuff in Poland, they're asking for people to spread the word because the Polish government isn't telling them or doing anything. The girl I saw said that all the information they're getting is from the German government. So, and there's no telling what all in all these different places just around where we are. Because they can go in and do something and then just not tell. And then you don't know what's happening there. And they can do whatever the fuck they want. Poison all the water. And make it where people don't have drinking water and stuff. Like, the stuff they're doing is so toxic. It's so dark. And it does have people just scrambling around, especially because you have all these people who think that death is real. Like, they think that they're going to die. Like, I can't even tell you how many people I have seen. You have one life. You have one life. You got to make the best of it. You have one life. This is all you got and all this stuff. It's like, well, it's good to think about like life in that way, to respect it and appreciate it, because you do only have one life. Kelly, this person who's created right here, this is her life. When I go as a spirit into another life, I won't be Kelly. I'll be somebody else. I'll be playing a different part for somebody else. So yeah, this is Kelly's one life. This is not my soul's one life. My soul goes and plays all sorts of lives, goes and plays all sorts of parts, But it just is, I don't know. A lot of people are they just are not coming to the experience through looking at it through a supernatural, spiritual lens. They're looking at it through a very controlled, manipulated way of seeing things. To me, that's what I pick up on. And, I don't know. I feel like just with how creepy it is outside and stuff, man, I was outside yesterday, and when I was, the sun was coming through and it was really hot and it was just weird. And I was thinking about all this different stuff. And the lady across the street, she's outside every day. I swear to God, she's out there screaming and cussing at somebody, yelling at somebody. So things have got to be blowing up over at that house. Like, shit has got to be going on. You know, I don't think you could be in any house right now and not have being faced with something, because it is what is supposed to be happening. You're supposed to be being faced with hard shit right now. You're supposed to be being faced with things that are going to bring you to that state of being, like what I called it, that come to Jesus moment. Like, who am I? What am I doing here? What does this all mean? Why is this happening? And get out of that just like rushing from, you know, I got to get to happy hour. Oh, I got to get to work. Oh, I got to get over there. Oh, the babysitter's going to be, you know, like just the rush of life, where people just spend their life rushing from one thing to another and never are in a present moment, because they're always in a hurry to get to the next thing. And when they're in the thing, they're not in the present moment, because they're so busy thinking about what happened at the last thing or what's going to happen at the next thing. So nobody's really in the present moment. And, you know, and that's what so much of this stuff has to do with. It has to do with learning about life and the purpose of life and why you're here and what it all means. And it doesn't have to do with fear. People fear so much about life and death, but it's because they've all been lied to and misled, because there is no fear about it. You go into a dream. Just like you go to bed at night, you go into a dream, and how many dreams do you have at night? Some people have 5 or 6 dreams. You go into these different existences. That is what this is. This reality is the same thing. Your higher self dreamed you into this existence so it could play out the scenario that it's here to play out. There was something else I wanted to say. Let me see. Oh, so I was trying to write them down so I could be more organized. So Italy is flooding. I saw that on there. So there's problems there. California told everybody to get a go bag. That I guess apparently the tide is receding on the East Coast, but it is coming up too high on the West Coast. What does that mean? I don't know. There's more stuff with this water situation that is trippy. So if the water is going out on that side and coming up on this side, which, you know, I feel certain something's going to go down with the water. Like I mean, the biggest things that I would want to do right now for my own self is I really want a van. And this keeps being like, I keep seeing so many people now, because you know, as soon as you put your energy towards like, oh, I want this, and it just keeps popping up, keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. I keep seeing all these people who are just going out and living their lives in vans. It's like, fuck yeah, I want to do that. And so I really want to get a van. I really want to get a boat. I think having a boat is going to be important, especially to get around, because I think the water is going to be so different. I think there's going to be a lot more water, and hopefully it'll be a lot more like you could travel all over the place in boats. You know, I don't know, but I do think it's going to be important to have a boat. I wish I had a boat right now, I'll tell you that. And then I want to, you know, get this place fixed up more so that I can start renting it out, not just as a way to be independent from the system, but also to just give people, travelers, a place to go that's not overpriced and stuff. Because one of the things I just can't stand in this world is the greed. The people, like right now, and it's really over the top, because there's so many people who are trying to screw other people over to get money financially right now, you know. They're just still, everybody's desperate to get this money. It's like, well, what about the things the money buy? How else could you get them? How else could you go about getting food? How else could you go about getting shelter? Like, oh, and by the way, there is 10 states right now, I think it is, that are giving away land if you want to move there. I know one was Texas. I can't remember the whole list. You can look it up. Somebody sent it to me. But there is, I'm pretty sure it's 10 states. But the states that are giving homestead property at this time, if you want to move to them. So there is some that are already doing it, but it's going to be way more. Once they really make the announcement of what's going on, because they still have some of these people in the news. You know, all of the stuff is just for the absurdity to get people to wake up. But, you know, a lot of these people are already gone. But once it's announced that these people are gone, then there'll be a big show about it. Like, you know, the things that they had taken are going to go back to the people and be part of the healing, part of the next step. So, you know, and I don't know how all these steps are going to go down. Like I said, there's so much like this anticipation for me of like, you know, to me, it feels like when I go to the eye doctor and they tell you to sit up, they're going to blow that puff of air in your eye and you're sitting there like, oh my God. Oh, and it's just that puff of air, but I don't know. That's what I feel like this has all been. Like, you're just sitting here like, you know it's about to come. You know it's about to come, but you don't know exactly what it's going to feel like. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. And you don't know if you are in one of the hot spots where it's going to really be affected, or if you're going to be one of the witnesses to what is going to go down. Like, it's all out there, you know, we just don't know. But there is, you know, something is going to happen, and it is going to be big. And I hope, I mean, when you think about, you know, after 9/11 and when we saw it, it changed the world, but it didn't change it like how we are anticipating that this next change is coming. So it could very well be that same kind of thing where it is kind of like more of a gentle change, but it goes in that other direction. In all of that other direction, and that is what's going to build us up with so much momentum and so much freedom. But people don't even realize, like, freedom isn't just going out and not being told you have to pay taxes. Freedom is just learning to love yourself and be proud of yourself and be free from concern and desire. It's like a free from worry, a free from worrying about what other people think about you. That's the freedom to be your true self and not be concerned about what other people think. You know, there's a lot of people who haven't gotten to that part. Like, I see spiritual people every day on TikTok defending themselves to people. There's no reason to defend yourself to anybody. Like, we all have different opinions. We all see things differently. We all are here experiencing what we're here to experience. And we can share our own insights because it could help somebody else. It could be something like, you know, if I hear something that somebody says and it's like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. I hadn't looked at that yet, you know. So that's the joy of sharing information. It's not about like, I'm right and you're wrong. Listen to me. And that's what I feel like there's so much of that energy right now. There's so much arguing and so much division in all these different groups. Like, when you're going through, it's like one is saying their part, arguing with this one, then the next one, they're saying their part, arguing with this one. It's just like, wow. Like a couple weeks ago when I said there's all of these beefs going on, it's getting beefier. Like, these people just, more and more division keeps happening. And all of that is going to be like the fireworks that is going to happen, because there's so much to be unveiled, to see the truth. And everybody's truth is a little bit different than everybody else's. So it's not like we're all going to have the same truth. Yeah, there's going to be a mutual truth of this reality and the people who are running the show and what they did for fun and their super religion. Like, I just saw a thing where this person who is testifying right now against these people, she said that from the time she was 5, when she started having to be a part of the rituals, that she has seen 136,000 children murdered for that in her lifetime. And she's testifying right now. I don't know. I've heard of a few of these different girls testifying against these people, just like when we heard about the one who was testifying and they said him to point at Joe and you're a abuser. And she goes, well, I'd love to, except for that's not the real guy. don't know. I've seen so many weird things now with like news clips, and you can tell the person's not human. They're robots or they're CGI. They're just sitting there reading a script. They're not even real. Like, I don't know. This world is just, it's so weird. So there will be common truths, you know, that we will all see, like certain things. But then we all have our own individual truths, our own individual lessons that we're here to learn. And, you know, there's a lot of lessons that are going to be coming. So I just think, you know, don't get caught up. Like if you feel a certain way and somebody says something and it's like, and there's so many people who are like, oh, I follow you and follow you. I love you so much. But now you said that. I'm not against that. No. You know, so just don't get too caught up in every little thing that somebody says. I mean, the truth's going to come out and show us all. And we're going to see, because that is the thing that we're here to experience, is this, like, you get to see yourself when you don't know, when you are unsure, things are unclear. Who are you? But then when you are shown, then that's when you get the real perspective of who you are. Once you see the truth, now is just the chance to put it out there so that you can see the truth, if that makes sense. You know, I don't even know if I'm making any sense at all. So let me see if there was another thing. I think it was, so yeah, they said, everybody get a bag. I've got my suitcase packed, but I've got so many shoes I want to take too. And then even if you go out walking, you can't go dragging your suitcase, carrying your shoes. Like, if it comes down to that, is like, you just got to let go of everything. It's just like, well, it was nice while I had you guys. It was nice while I had this life, but it's over with now. And I'm going into a new one. I'm losing all of this because this part was over, and now I'm going into a new part. And that is, you know, that's a part of it. I've had that happen a lot of times. So anyways, I think I got everything written down that I said. There's so much more, but I just feel like it's just such a chaotic kind of energy, and I feel it inside of me. It feels weird. Just like I said, I feel like a sandbag that the sand keeps shifting. So I don't know. You know, I feel like that it's close and things are going to be happening, and, you know, whatever is going on in your life, that right now it is all for healing, and it is so much is to show you what you're made of, to get you to heal so you can see yourself more clearly. And that was so much of what is happening is all about, even when it doesn't make sense, and people dying, and it's like, this doesn't make sense. Why are they dying and stuff? When people are dying and leaving you right now, is so that they push you into your healing. Doesn't mean they've left you forever. Just means that they left the stage because you were going to be affected by them leaving the stage, and it was going to make you go into your come to Jesus moment. Like, you know, what does this all mean? Why are we doing this? Why am I here? And it'd be great if we could all just say there's a one size fits all, but it's not. That's why you have to get in touch with your own guidance, your own spiritual connection. That's why you can't just go through somebody else's spiritual connection, because you'll get their answers. You're not going to get your answers. And then I know it feels frustrating and hard when you don't feel as connected to your own spirit. And it is hard to quiet your mind. It is hard to start picking up and listening to what they're telling you. But it is possible. And it is the challenges that you're here to overcome. Because this is everything that is happening. Like, our whole existence is about spiritual. It isn't about all of this other stuff. You come into these three-dimensional experiences to experience it, to have some fun, to do some stuff that you can't do when you're not in spirit form. But you're also here to learn stuff. So, you know, there's a lot to it, but it is all about spirit. just people are just really mind trapped in this three-dimensional, and then they perceive everything through those lenses. So all I can say is start taking those lenses off, start taking those glasses off, start trying to look at life from your spirit, from the perspective of what if life is all about just spirit? And why would what would my spirit do for this? Why would my spirit want to know this? Why would my spirit go through this? And then you start seeing, that's what I'm always saying, like, some people's stories are so tragic that it's hard to imagine that a spirit would come in for that. But you're also talking about badass eternal warriors coming in to experience all sorts of stuff, and the expansion that goes hand in hand with every experience, because you always grow, you always learn. Even if it takes you 75 lives to learn one lesson, it is always expansion, and everything always layers on itself. So you learn from all those experiences together, and you learn from each one. Like, I just know I'm rambling. So anyways, hopefully I'm making sense. I know I'm making sense to some of y'all. And it's just weird. Don't get caught up in, it just seems like there's a lot of people who are just flailing around. Like, we got to get out of this matrix. We're all trapped here. We're prison. But it's, I don't know. I could go on and on and on. I swear to God, I could just ramble and ramble about some of this stuff. So anyways, I will talk to you later. I don't know if yesterday my phone was just glitching or what, but I guess the sun sent out a bunch of coronal flare things, and the Schumann resonance is going crazy bonkers. So if you can't sleep, and like me, I've got so much pain in my body, I can't even believe it. But so any of those kind of things can be coming from some of this stuff, but these coronal mass things or whatever shooting out again, that they said that can affect how you feel and stuff, but it also can start affecting our electronics and stuff. But it's all leading, all of these are leading into the big one. Like, there's going to be a huge one. These are like, we're getting little blasts to kind of, to give us our, the equilibrium to the energy, so that we can kind of handle it. But the one that is going to be, the big event, the big solar flash, the big solar flare, that one is going to be much bigger. That's the one that I'm talking about, I think is going to feel like a big hiccup or a big deja vu. Like, if you've had that deja vu where you're standing there, all of a sudden it feels like, I don't know, it feels like your mind folds over itself or something. I think it's going to kind of feel like that. Like a weird kind of like going from one reality to another, going through a portal. So, and, well, we'll see. Because I'll just keep talking and talking. I'll sit there and just ramble and not even know if I'm making sense. So anyways, I will talk to you later. We'll just see how this plays out.